Hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Callum White and welcome to Caledonia Creative, my new show we're going to be running here on the Clampede channel, where I'm going to be interviewing creative folk from all around Scotland, and they could be artists, they could be musicians, poets, cosplayers, model makers, anything, as long as it involves some element of creativity. I want to give a spotlight and just find out why they do what they do. And today's first episode is a special one to me, because it's my most favourite, form of creativity is filmmaking. And I'm here with my very good friends, and actually collaborators, the McQuaid Brothers, Ben and Nathan. Thank you very much for coming on the show and welcome.
Thanks for having us on. It's good to be on here.
Yes, I legit couldn't think of a better. As soon as I got the idea for this show, I was like, I need to ask these guys to, be my opening episode, because I was like, it's just, I love the stuff you guys do. Let's get straight to the questions. The most basic one I'm going to ask it every time anyone films. What is your favourite movie of all time and why? If you can't pick one, give me a wee selection.
Probably Return of the King, Bad Taste, Dog Day Afternoon, The Godfather Part 2 probably.
Nice.
I'd probably say Comfort and Joy, Hunt for the Wilder People, and Bad Taste, Evil Dead.
Oh yeah. I definitely see, the Bad Taste, Evil Dead stuff. That's very obvious in a lot of your filmmaking, especially stuff like, I forget the exact title, is it The Odd Growth on the Back of Bert's Very Neck? Is that the title? I always get the words mixed up in that one. Well, with that and with Dead Nuts, you can see there's a huge love for, I guess splatter films. Sort of classic gore, very 70s, 80s kind of grindhousey style.
Yeah.
And that brings me on to the next question. Obviously, there's an element. Everyone's inspired by someone, and from your work, I can see there's Raimi, there's Early Jackson, there's Pinocchio, Del Toro, obviously Del Toro with your new Walnut Man.
Yeah.
Are there any other sort of directors or creatives that you sort of feel inspired by? You sort of try to emulate or recreate in your own fashion.
Well, filmmaking wise, probably Bill Forsyth, the Scottish 70s, 80s filmmaking scene, and it's his really awkward kind of honest kind of filmmaking is really funny. And then I don't know, so maybe Paul McCartney, maybe just because of his work ethic. I admire that a lot, his just determination to always be making stuff and always different stuff.
I can definitely see that again, in the work you're doing. It's human, if that makes. It's got a very down to earth kind of feel, despite being these sort of fantastic concepts. You can tell the effort and the work that's gone into it. It's not just a product to you. It's something you want to make it as good as possible. Because a lot of people, professionals, up and comers, they just if I'm gonna be a filmmaker, I'm gonna make films, and there's not much love to it. I guess they're just gonna make it. But you guys, everything you've done, there's a McQuaid touch to it. I'm like, no, these guys really care for the work they're doing, and it's really amazing to see, two young guys work so well, and just kind of there is just that unique air. I'm like, this is so amazing to watch. I love seeing the humanity behind it, I guess.
Another inspiration as well, I'd say, is the author Robin Jenkins, because I don't know, his book The Cone Garrers, I don't know how to describe it, but the way he writes things, it's completely serious, but the more you read it, the funnier it gets, kind of probably unintended. Yeah, definitely unintentional. But we're trying to kind of copy that a bit, with the way some of our characters talk and how they act. They take themselves very seriously, but the more you actually think about them, they're very odd and it gets funnier. Oh, absolutely.
Another example is in Dead Nuts, the squirrel containment guys. To them, there's these badass squirrel hunters, but in reality, it's just a bunch of idiots in high-vis jackets trying to stab a squirrel. The way they're written, they're we have our job, but in reality, they're just cannon fodder for a fucking squirrel. They're gonna be dying, and they just think that's their life. I love that, the element of writing to it, I guess. My next question, obviously, I think you guys are related, right?
Yeah.
I can kind of see a similarity there.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. If you squint, it's kind of clear. What's it like working with your brother, and also with Matthew on the music? What's it like being a sort of a family team working so close? Do you ever disagree on stuff, or do you kind of fight back on each other's ideas, or is always you're sort of on the same brain waves?
We disagree with each other. One of us would eventually give up and we'll do the other's idea. And that's pretty much it. It's good because if we disagree with each other or don't like an idea, we can actually say it's not good. Whereas if you're working with someone else, you feel bad saying like I don't like this idea. But if if we don't like something, we can argue about it, and at the end of the day we'll still make it. Like, we'll compromise on something. It's like with music as well, since our brother makes it, if something's not working, then just tell him it's not working.
And like, it tells us if something in the film's not working as well, and then we have to go back and fix it. So
So it seems like, obviously it's not all, like, oh, you're one mind. There's still set visions for each of you, but you will compromise in a healthy way of doing it. Because I can really, working on some projects with people, even your friends, you're kind of like, how do you say this isn't going to work out? How do you say I would do it this way without making them, feel inadequate on their own shirt or something? But you can get like, oh, look, we're both partners in this. This is not going to work out better. And again, it makes for good products. It's not, honestly, I've never really sat there like, this one feels forced. I'm like, you can tell there's a teamwork there. It's not an individual taking over a certain scene. And even if it's like, say it's Ben's idea and you're like, oh, not feeling that, you still come to compromise and you work well together to make it the best product it can be. So going off your filmography, again, it's very unique. It strays away from typical student filmmaking fare. You don't do stuff that I'm guilty of it. My end of college submission was, oh, I'm so depressed. I'm a straight white guy living in a nice area. My life is awful. A lot of student filmmakers fall into that trap of making very similar projects. Not that they're lazy, but it kind of feels that way sometimes. But you have these unique ideas, and even the way you film them. You made a 15-minute animated film recently, the Ballad of the Indispensable Walnut Man, which, by the way, congratulations on the success of that. Well deserved every award at this year's ATMAs. And then The Odd Growth in the Back of Bert's Very Neck, Dead Nuts. Everything you make, it is non-traditional, I guess, for young filmmakers. Is there a reason you keep coming back to mixed media animation? Is there a reason that stands out to you much?
I think one thing is, before I went to university, we were in like a filmmaking course during COVID, and it was like young people, and they would encourage people to make stuff, and everyone in it was kind of just making really boring stuff, and they were encouraging you to like just make like dramas. Nothing against dramas, but so even in that they said we're just gonna make our own thing.
And then like when universities are asking you to like submit stuff, like Edinburgh and the RCS, they were like, okay, can you make a film about the theme of like home or whatever it was? Like
very much
we made films for those things based around themes, and they didn't get us into anything, but like we didn't really like the films we made anyway. We just kind of gave up.
I think
on
it's
it.
very much just pushing back against that kind of thought of it needs to be done a certain way, because they call it, I just want in those big short cuts, it was very boring making films like that. And then like going to RTV, I remember at the Fresher store, and they had all the videos up, like seeing the Get Home Safe and Joe, and like a lot of films, like knowing that you can do drama but also genre stuff was nice.
Yeah, because like genre filmmaking appeals to a lot of people because even though not everyone's gonna have access to these mad lavish sets, but you make do. You're like, well, we've got a squirrel puppet, some like wooden balls and paint. Let's make a killer squirrel. We'll animate it. We'll make it throw up with a garden pump tube. Like, you take what you have access, because there's no point settling stuff you don't want to do. Like our college was the same. Our first thing was about journey, and in the nicest way, there was some really good stuff there. But what are you really supposed to do? It's quite a limiting idea to saying make the theme of a journey. It's like, what? Yeah, like a lot of them, they're great. A lot of them were really good, but there's a stretch where some of them were really creative outputs. But you're like, is it really a journey, or are we using the loosest theme here? And our college was great with it. Our college was very good at letting us to kind of do what we wanted when it came to the work. But I think a lot of education does that. Like, give me a short film about the themes of family. I'm like, what if I don't want to do that? What if that's not my style of filmmaking?
Yeah.
What are some of your favourite moments from your time studying at Stirling and being in RTV? Are there any moments that really stand out to you as like, this is why you're here?
Well, there was one day when we filmed part of The Odd Growth where we went in the morning, we got a bunch of voices for Walnut Man done. Then in the afternoon we filmed all of The Odd Growth. Then after that we went and filmed The Bleed Green, and then after that we did more voices, and it was like a whole day of just like working on a variety of different projects. And that's like one of the days that sticks in my head.
That work ethic alone, by the way, Jesus Christ, I couldn't do that. I couldn't wake up and be like, all right, let's record. I'd be like, okay, I can do one of these, and that's just insane.
It was also during reading week, so like the union was closed as well, so we had to keep going back and have to get the key from security.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That was always a pain in the ass. I remember during reading week in my 4th year, I left my bag there, and I had my house keys in. I'm like, oh Jesus, I had to wait like half an hour at the security desk for someone to get it, and that was such a painful like wait. So, congrats for putting up with that every time you wanted to go record stuff during reading week. That's dedication to a bit right there.
I also say probably like when we filmed most of Dead Nuts, that was a good day, and then also recently when we filmed all Dial Drunk to Death in like one night, because that was a very like spontaneous kind of thing, just going up and then making a whole film in 2 hours in the freezing cold in the middle of Stirling. That was a good highlight as well.
Yeah, the sort of like on the field element where you're just like, right, we're making it, who cares about the elements, we're just going to go out and make what we want to make because you've got your vision and you're going to reach it. So as an audience, Two Muggers Productions have made some amazing stuff so far. What can we expect next? Because I know in your interview with Brig in the lead up to the ATVAs, you mentioned finishing off the Nuts trilogy with Ginger Nut. Is there anything we can hear? Is there anything you're willing to share about this, or is this a closed lock project until it's ready to be seen by the public, or is there anything we can get?
I don't know, because we keep having ideas, but it keeps getting changed. So I don't know if I tell you any plot details at the moment, it could end up completely different.
Yeah.
But it's going to be completely live action this time. So it's probably not going to... It's less of like a genre one. Well, it is still like genre, but more just like action, crime kind of. So not like any fantastical elements or anything like that. And it'll probably have a very big cast.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, I'm very excited to see whatever you guys make, whether it's Ginger Nut, whether it's any other kind of nut. Also, why nuts? Why was nuts the thing where you were like, this is going to be our like genre calling card, I guess?
There wasn't really a plan. Like when the original idea for the Walnut Man was the Tic Tac Man, and it was like the same thing, but instead of walnuts, he had Tic Tacs for some reason.
The whole joke was like, why does this guy in the 1800s have Tic Tacs with him?
And we kind of just said we'll get copyrighted for that, so we can't do anything with it. So I told him to change it.
Yeah.
And he changed it to walnuts. And I don't even think it was intentional.
I don't think so, no.
It's just a happy accident that you're now the nut guys.
So then we just had an idea after, we might as well make a third one.
It's more of like a spiritual trilogy.
They share some similar moments. Like the characters in both of them have a journal, and there's also a moment around 13 minutes, which was by coincidence the two of the main characters stare into each other's eyes. So I guess for the third one we're going to have to keep some of that up.
Yeah.
Speaking of bringing over elements in the last one, well, this little man made his debut in Dead Nuts, got his feature-length premiere in the full-length Dead Nuts. Will he be, my co-star here, is he going to be in Ginger Nut to finish off the trilogy?
There might be a reference to him.
But I think he's going into retirement for a bit, probably.
Well, I'm glad I got to share the screen with him. He was a great co-star. You know, sometimes he was a bit bratty on set, but he's a squirrel. What can you expect?
His ego's gotten a little too high, so he needs to be put away for a while.
He's becoming the icon of Air TV. He needs to take a back seat, let the actual students, take the reins for a bit. Everyone sees Air TV and like, oh, the squirrel place, hell yeah. Let's talk about Walnut Man for a bit. How long did it take you to make a 15-minute, fully stop-motion animated short film? What was that like, the production cycle of it?
Well, we kind of started planning it in like August, September, but like there was just like sketches and some rough ideas, and
trying to figure out like the logistics of how do you actually do it.
Yeah, we did like some early tests and stuff. And I think in October we started designing and like building the characters, and then we decided we got like all the voice acting done in like October, November, so that we could like sync the audio to the animation. And then we started in December.
Yeah, like mid-December.
And we were thinking then we're starting early so we can finish this in like 3 months, and then we can work on the edit for like 2 months. and it took like over 5 months, and we had
Yeah.
we
Jesus.
were editing it. Like we were editing some of it because weren't able to like animate in order. So like whilst we were animating, we were still editing some of it.
And you're already kind of editing as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pick the next shot to do. Like it's not like you can get it from all angles, and then you pick and choose later. Like you kind of have to edit on the job with it.
Yeah, like our
That's
brother
it.
was making the music, and like he started in like, January, I think. But then we finished like animating, and then we'd edited some of it, but then we had like 2 days, like less than 2 days.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 full day to actually finish the whole thing.
Jesus.
And edit. And because it's all animated, we didn't really have any of the sound. So like you had to start from complete scratch.
Christ.
And it's like
That's an intensive process.
so we had to really spend hours doing the sound because the moment of silence is kind of noticeable. So that took a long time.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like, it doesn't sound that intensive, to be honest. You could probably do it in like 2 days if you actually tried. I'm sure that's mean, I'm sorry. That was horrible. That was awful.
Shots were already stitched together, so like just really putting scenes next to each other. Well, it's not as intensive as like if you have all the raw footage and you need to deal with it.
It's like when you're editing on the fly, because when you're editing a live action thing, you're looking through, up to maybe like 5-10 takes for like one little sequence. But when you're doing stop motion, you've got such complete control on the day where you're like, no, this is the shot. You're just stitching them together. You're not Frankensteining a day's worth of footage. You're like, oh, we've got our footage, pop them in, and we've got our stuff. But also, I love that even the credits were hand animated. You could have easily just gone on like Photoshop or something and been like, all right, credit scroll, throw it together. No, you drew everything. Also, thank you for spelling my name correctly, by the way. Even my co-workers who I see 5 times a week cannot spell my name right. Thank you for the 1L. That means a lot. But like, it's just so cool. I'm a massive fan of anything animated. So when I saw you were making a feature animation, I was like, this is amazing. I'm glad I was right to be excited because it swept the AVAs. Like, I don't think any film has won that many AVAs before. Not that I can remember from the years I've been there. I think because County Procrastination had 4, I think, and I think Hard Rock and Student Film Store had 3 last year. But you walked with about 7 awards, I think, or 6.
6, yeah.
Gee, that's like
Before
just about half of them.
Some new ones added this year.
I saw like Ensemble Cast was one of them that they added,
Yeah.
and
And
character design, yeah. So was
like for costume and makeup.
oh okay, yeah. So it was like a sort of production design meets like all sort of elements of it. That's a good addition there. But I cannot express the pure joy I felt. I was like 2 or 3 in the morning. I was chatting to you. I was like, oh, how'd the AVAs go? And you were telling like, oh well, we didn't get to show it because McRoberts.
Yeah.
Fuck you, McRoberts. You messed the audio up last year. You messed the audio up this year. Congratulations. You may have premiered Braveheart. You still have a shit cinema. I was like, oh, this is awful, like to hear about. But then you told me it won so much stuff, and I had the biggest smile on my face when I was like, well deserved, well and truly deserved. And it went live at like 4 a.m. on the AirTV channel, and I was falling asleep, and I was like ready. As soon as I saw the message, it's live, I perked right back up. I watched the whole thing with this massive smile and like look of awe on my face, like, oh my god. The handbelt sets, everything about it worked so well. It deserved all those awards by a landslide.
Oh, thanks.
And yeah, so I've asked what I can ask. I think it was lovely getting to learn more about everything that goes into your work and about you guys as people. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on this episode today, and it was lovely to chat and learn more with you guys. And thank you very much to you, the viewers, for tuning in and watching this first episode of Caledonia Creative. Hopefully we can expect more. I'm not going to say an exact date when, because I cannot promise anything at all. Not really. I'm not very good at this thing. I've been doing it for 7 years and I'm still quite crap. But either way, thank you again for watching. I'm rambling now, as I tend to do. Hopefully we see more of you and you see more of us in the near future. Bye bye.